Hello and welcome from Helsinki. This magnificent stadium, built in 1938 to celebrate the 1940 Olympic Games, hosts today the first World Championships in athletics, which many expect to be the greatest athletics meeting in history. Primo Nebbiolo, president of the International Amateur Athletic Federation, at the opening ceremony, celebrating the fact that it's the first time since the Munich Olympic Games of 1972 that almost all of the world's leading athletes have been assembled for a competition in one stadium. In 1976, the nations of Black Africa withdrew from the Olympic Games of Montreal to protest the presence of New Zealand, whose rugby players had toured South Africa. In 1980, the United States, West Germany and 54 other countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics to protest the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Here in Helsinki, there is no boycott. In fact, a total of 159 nations have sent their athletes to compete here, a greater number of countries than have ever taken part in the Olympic Games. And it's hoped that this will be witnessed by 1,000 million people around the world, a quarter of the world's population. The President of Finland, of course, graces us with his presence. Nearly 1,600 athletes are beginning their competitions today, more than 1,000 men and more than 500 women. They will compete for gold, silver and bronze medals in 41 events, 24 men's events and 17 women's events. And what a year it is for track and field athletics. Already this year, new world records have been set up in 7 men's events and 9 women's events. Mauno Koivisto, President of Finland, making the athletes of the world welcome to this marvellous stadium. It was here in this Helsinki Olympic Stadium that Paavo Nurmi carried the 1952 Olympic flame into the stadium and brought tears to the eyes of everyone there. And when Emil Zatopek won the 5,000 metres, the 10,000 metres and the marathon, the very first time that he attempted it in those Olympic Games. A stadium where so much athletics history has been made. 44 world records have been set here. And we look forward to more unforgettable moments during the week to come. Welcome to the first World Championships of Athletics. The spectators bathed in sunshine, the most knowledgeable supporters of track and field athletics in the world. Here in Finland, where athletics is the major sport, the shadow of that tower across the major stadium, built to depict a world record holder in the javelin. Outside, of course, Paavo Nurmi is cast in bronze. And as the students of physical education dance and set well, the memories of Nurmi to the music of Sibelius, then that great tower that is cast, 72 meters and 71 centimeters high, to depict in history the efforts of Matti Järvinen, who 10 times broke the world record in the javelin, 3 times held the European Championships and was once the Olympic champion. So it's a stadium that is here as a shrine to athletes of both track and field. Well, the rehearsal for this setting began about a year ago. 88 clubs rehearsed this program, and in the spring there was the first practice for all the gymnasts as well as the qualification tryouts. Thousands of girls in the Finnish Women's Physical Education Association and 20 girls from the Workers' Sports Federation. Altogether, 800 girl dancers were chosen to present the program. Many of them gymnasts, many of them athletes. This is where music and sport goes hand in glove. This is a mosaic work. Here they swing and sway and move in 12 great circles. But the athletics is already underway, the shot put qualifying, from the grace and artistry of those women to the muscle men of the shot put. David Lout of the United States of America attempting to reach 20 meters, 65 feet 7.5. He uses a rotational turn technique. He's the best of the Americans, and they're expected to do well here. Watch him spin in a discus-like turn on that 7-foot circle and thump the 16-pound shot away to over 21 meters. So he qualifies with 1 throw. Sarul, 6 feet 4.5 from Poland, who Edward Sarul has been looking extremely good. He's the new young era of shot putters, and he too, well beyond that 20-meter mark. It only takes him 1 put to qualify. That's the Olympic champion in the red t-shirt there, Udo Bayer of East Germany. But now we see Remigius Machura of Czechoslovakia, another of the new wave. These men weighing an average of 18 stones. They're about 6 feet 4 average height. A rare breed indeed. He uses a traditional glide across the circle, and then from the tee position, he too puts it over 20 meters. 65 feet 7.5. The 12 best will meet in the final. 20 meters and 67 centimeters. That looks like the sturdy back of Mr. Kevin Akins of the United States. A real powerhouse, certainly the strongest man there, but he's having trouble qualifying. Capable of it, but spinning, and he's short of 20 meters, and one of the best Americans and one of the best shot putters in the world walks out without qualifying. He'd be a very disappointed man. It's a long trip back to California for Kevin Akins without that qualification. These are the men that did qualify. That's in Group A. Those over 20 meters only. Boyar of the Soviet Union, Timmerman, the new young giant from the German Democratic Republic, Machura of Czechoslovakia. And from the second pool, Udo Bayer, the Olympic champion and world record holder, has made it there with Sarul. And although there are not 12 men who've made 20 meters, it will be the best 12 men that go into that final. Now we see the women on the track for the 800 meters. And this is Heat 2, in which the first 3 will qualify. The lineup is on the board. Representatives from Malaysia, Czechoslovakia, Sao Tome and Principe, a 16-year-old, wears 383. Look out for her in lane 3. Petrova of Bulgaria wears 47. Jill McCabe wears 393, runs for Sweden, although she's British-born. And Podkopieva of the Soviet Union wears 463. They break after 1 turn and cut to the inside. 383, Maria de Rosario Alfonso. It'll be the East Europeans that will dominate these women's 800 meters. Not even the Western Europeans can stay with them. And certainly the athletes from the third world countries will find this extremely tough. 4 heats there are. The first 3 in each heat, plus 4 fastest losers go through. 393, Jill McCabe runs in the yellow of Sweden. 413 running on the inside, Moravchikova of Czechoslovakia, who is 26 and has a personal best of 1 minute 57 seconds, 26.26. Second in the European Indoor Championship, so we know of her form. Jill McCabe, the British-born Swedish girl, goes around. The Russian girl is looking strong, wearing 463, Podkopieva, and she's in second place now behind the Swedish girl. The Bulgarian girl, Totka Petrova, is running third. And there's the battle. The strong East European girls get away from the rest of the field. The Swedish girl goes back a little bit there. Moravchikova in the white of Czechoslovakia in second. The Soviet girl has gone to the lead. Podkopieva, 31 years of age, has a very fast time of 1:55.96 to her credit, set this season. And with only 3 to qualify by right, this is a run for the line that's very important. The Russian girl on the outside is going to get there first. Podkopieva, Petrova of Bulgaria gets there second. Moravchikova of Czechoslovakia gets there third. There's the Russian girl, her time 2 minutes 6.42. The Bulgarian girl and the Czechoslovakian girl confirmed all their times. 2:06 or thereabouts. Now for heat 3, the same rules apply. The first 3 in each heat, the 4 fastest losers. Again, it will be the East Germans and the East Europeans that dominate, and it's an East German girl that goes away from the very strong, powerful figure of Kratochvilova. This is the East German girl, Angie Schroeder, only 19 years of age, very fluent action, and on the shoulder of the Czechoslovakian girl, who's the world record holder for this event, running in only her 4th race at the distance. On her shoulder comes Celestine Ndrine of the Ivory Coast, who's done well to qualify. It's a slower time than the first heat, but the East German girl made light work of it. The 19-year-old girl, Antje Schroeder, qualifies with Kratochvilova of Czechoslovakia and Ndrine of the Ivory Coast. The next girls are out. Heat 4. Campbell of the United States, Robin Campbell that is, Doina Melinti, Tina Krebs, Jennifer Bean, Trinh Thebe of Vietnam, who must be new to this standard of event, Lubov Gorina, much the better known. She's the Soviet girl right in the middle with the red top and white shorts. It's the tall Robin Campbell on the outside in the all-red strip of America, the 24-year-old girl that's pushing her on the outside. 98 there is Tina Krebs of Denmark, who's doing well, the Scandinavian girl, and it looks like in third place there. But on the inside, we've got Doina Melinti. It's the Russian girl, Lubov Gorina, that gets to the line first. Doina Melinti of Romania is second. Robin Campbell of the United States is third, and that is a much faster heat. 2 minutes 4.17. You can see how tough it is for the young girls from the third world who are competing in this level of competition for the first time. Now for the men who are out for the 800 meters. This will be much faster, of course. There are 8 heats in all. The first 2 only go through by right to the next round, plus 8 fastest losers. Here we've got Kamara of Guinea, Gilbert of Australia, Aiden of Somalia, Khalid of Kuwait, Gary Cook of Great Britain, James Robinson of the United States, Christoph Ulmer of Switzerland, and from the Soviet Union, the very powerful Viktor Kalinkin. That's the Australian wearing the yellow that's breaking, Paul Gilbert, 22 years of age. On the outside, Viktor Kalinkin, looking strong too. Australian tucking in, Kalinkin holding the bend. The Australian on the inside. Much closer this, the athletes drawn together. Look at Robinson right at the back, wearing those white armbands. He's known as a latecomer. Gary Cook in all white for Great Britain in the middle of that pack. But watch Robinson, because he normally comes from the back. Third in the World Championships, in the World Student Games. He's 28 years of age, but he's very experienced, and he's still way, way at the back as Viktor Kalinkin gets away. It's the Somalian Jama Aiden who's running well in second place, but watch Gary Cook in the all-white of Great Britain, and Robinson beginning to make his charge from the back. You can tell from his white wristlets there. And they go past the Somali athlete, and still it's Kalinkin of the Soviet Union, who was the winner of their Spartakiad Games. Gary Cook is closing on him, and Robinson is closing on him. Robinson sprinting for the line. Gary Cook is going with him. Kalinkin goes back to third as Robinson takes first place. Gary Cook for Great Britain is second. Kalinkin of the Soviet Union is third, and that's a fast run. The American winning in 1:46.32. James Robinson of America lives to fight another day, and their first times indeed. It was the Swiss who finished fourth there, Christoph Ulmer, but he has to wait to see whether he's one of the 8 fastest losers. The next group are out. An interesting group this, with Gumares of Brazil wearing number 80, drawn on the inside. Alberto Juantorina is wearing 165. El Cavallo, the horse, all white strip, running for Cuba. He's got Juma Ndiwa on the inside running away from him, and we've got Gordon Hines in the all blue strip that's leading for Barbados at the moment. But watch this magnificent Cuban athlete, 6 feet 3.5 with a 9.5 foot stride length, go into the lead now. Relaxed, and he takes Ndiwa of Kenya with him. And he really is a powerhouse. This is the man who won both the 400 meters and the 800 meters in the 1976 Olympic Games. Tremendous stuff. And the crowd roared him onto the arena because he's so well liked. And he was instantly recognized by everyone here in the stadium. He breaks away again, looks over his shoulders. Guimarães of Brazil goes with him. Ndiwa of Kenya is also there. And Alberto Juantorino winds down to the line. Oh, and he's almost taken on the... Oh, he's fallen over. He was almost taken on the line by the Kenyan. He looked over his right shoulder, and suddenly he turned his right foot, and he looks to be in pain. Alberto Juantorino, he's called El Cavallo. He's as strong as a horse, but really he relaxed rather too much. Guimarães in yellow is closing on him. That's fine because 3 qualify. But he were 2 qualified for absolute certainty. So he's okay for 1 and 2. But watch the man in red coming up from Kenya, who's stealing up behind him. He's trying to relax and he wants to save himself a little bit. The fast finishing Kenyan throws himself at the line. I don't think he quite gets there. I think it's Juantorino. There's not much in it, but 2 strides later, he's hit the fence and he's in agony. Now that looks very serious because he is certainly in pain, and that could be the end of these championships for Alberto Juantorino of Cuba, the double Olympic champion, one of the giants of Olympism, much respected. And that's where he turns that right angle, and he really does turn very, very badly. The agony is on his face, and tragedy here as he is carried off on a stretcher, and it's clear that he will not take part in these championships again. Not these championships. That really is a mixture of great pain, great frustration, and anguish. Alberto Juantorino of Cuba, one of the favorites for that 800-meter title, is off. Well, this is a rare sight, a women's marathon. They've been running women's marathon for about 10 years, but this is only the 3rd time in a major championship that we've seen one. There are about 60 starters, 26 miles, 385 yards on the roads of Helsinki. And all of Scandinavia hopes that Grete Waitz, who wears 318 for Norway, will come back the winner. Why? Well, she's 3 times raised the world record for the women's marathon. She really has led this supercharge. There's a little Japanese girl going out there wearing 291. But these are very early days to start predicting winners. And we look for Grete Waitz tucked in that crowd, but she will be cheered on by the whole of Scandinavia. She's done so much for women's marathon running. I was saying it's only the 3rd championships that the women's marathon has been included. The European Championships of last year and the World Student Games. And normally, women so often run in men's marathons, mixed marathons. This is a rare chance for them to run on their own. It means that they must set their own pace. It's a very warm day here in Helsinki with temperatures up to about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very humid too. So it's going to need a great deal of discipline. They will have to take a lot of water and they'll have to pace themselves very carefully. It's a hilly course. Only about 20% of the course is level and flat. And as they go on their way, this vast crowd will wish them well because many of them will remember that back in 1952, there was no women's event longer than the 200 meters. Not even the 400 meters was acceptable for women. No 800, no 1500, no 3,000 meters, and certainly no marathon. And now women are running the marathon faster than the great Emil Zatopek won his 3rd Olympic title back in 1952. So they set their way, and we still have 291 ambitiously setting away. There's Grete Waitz there in the middle. She wears red, blue and white. The American girls will be strong. The Soviet girls will be strong. The Japanese girls have set off with great ambitions. There they are. The green of Ireland right in the middle there. And Canada will be good too. And a lot of people in Britain will be hoping that Joyce Smith, at 45 years of age, could come back with a medal. That would be marvellous. Some of them accepting the challenge of the marathon for the first or second time. Their experience is limited, but it's a large field. They will be cheered every part of the way. They will take on liquid at each of the stations where liquid is taken, and they will take on sponges too. And everyone wishes them well. You can see the crowd cheering them on in the background as they set off on the roads for the marathon. The longest event on the calendar for women, certainly. Now we move to the sprints, and excitement mounting in the stadium in anticipation of what is going to be some marvellous running. Here's the first of the second rounds. Angela Taylor of Canada, Els Vada of the Netherlands, the Bulgarian girl Anilia Nuneva, who's good, Monica Hirsch of West Germany, the Jamaican girl Lilith Hodges, then Alice Brown of America. Alice Brown in the all red, and she's getting away well, but Nuneva in lane 3 is going very well, and so is Angela Taylor in lane 1, and these three girls will get away with Antonova of the Soviet Union. They're the first four, and the first four from this round will go through. That's Alice Brown you're looking at in the all red, but over on the far side it's Anilia Nuneva who gets to the line first, ahead of Angela Taylor. Then it's Alice Brown, and then it's Olga Anatova of the Soviet Union. And that's fast running indeed, 11.20, not very much of a following wind. It's 0.8 of a meter, well inside the allowable limit of 2 meters per second. That was 0.8 of a meter, and they were the four girls that got through. There's Georgieva of Bulgaria in this second qualifying round. She runs against one of the home favourites, Marianne. There she is, the Finnish champion and Finnish record holder, and she'll be cheered all the way. Helena Marianne. All eyes, though, will be on Marita Koch. Marita Koch in the background there, in the blue of the German Democratic Republic. She is the world record holder for 400 meters and 200 meters. In this championship, she chooses to run in the 100 meters as well. 3:27, Lydia de Vega of the Philippines. There's Rasmussen, Dorte Rasmussen of Denmark. Beverly Callender of Great Britain, 26 years of age. She goes down on her blocks, and against her is Merlin Otti, the very, very strong girl, the Commonwealth champion who was silver medalist in the 100 meters and Commonwealth champion at 200 meters, and that is Esmeralda de Jesus Freitas of Brazil. Marita Koch in lane 3. Marita Koch gets away brilliantly. On her left, Marianne Helena of Finland going well. And on this side, Merlin Otti, and I think Beverly Callender will be fourth, as the East German girl gets to the line in 11.25. Marita Koch running so well there from Merlin Otti of Jamaica in the yellow and green. And on the far side, Marianne of Finland. And then it was Georgieva who was looking very good, or was it the Russian girl that got through? Very close indeed. There it is. Marianne and Georgieva was fourth, and it was Beverly Callender that was fifth. Marita Koch goes on, the East German girl, and what a fine squad they'll have in their relay team later on. And now the next lineup, which brings another very good East German girl, Silke Gladish, who is in lane 4. Diane Williams of the America is in lane 5, and these two break away. The coloured girl Diane Williams taking with her Silke Gladish. It's between them who's going to get 1 and 2. It's very close, with Baku of France who gets third, and Shirley Thomas of Great Britain who gets fourth. That's the American girl. The American girl Diane Williams, 22 years of age, second in the US Championships, runs away from Silke Gladish, the 19-year-old East German girl, and gets to the line 2 ahead of Rose Amy Bakul of France, 31 years of age, then Shirley Thomas of Great Britain in fourth as they walk back there. 2:80, Juliet Cuthbert of Jamaica. Now the result of that, 11.25. Silke Gladish, 11.36. The wind a minus reading, so the wind was against them in that. And now a chance to see the great Evelyn Ashford. There she is. Evelyn Ashford, the world record holder for 100 meters, runs in lane 3. She runs against the girl whose world record she took in lane 5, Marlies Goer of the German Democratic Republic. So it's those two that all eyes will be on, lanes 3 and lane 5. And they both get away to a brilliant start. Evelyn Ashford, world record holder, set it out, as you remember, and Marlies Goer this side. Who gets to the line first? Well, it's going to be the American girl. The American girl gets there first this time and wins back one of the victories that she so badly wanted. Evelyn Ashford, the world record holder, ahead of Marlies Goer, the former world record holder, with Angela Bailey of Canada, who was 4th in the Commonwealth Games, coming in 3rd. Heather Oakes of Great Britain coming in 4th. That was a fine run, and everybody was on their feet to watch that. Evelyn Ashford, there she is, the flyer. 26 years of age. Her time 11.11. It was a minus wind as well, so that's the outstanding performance of the women's sprint. Evelyn Ashford and Marlies Goer is second. Now we're back out on the marathon course. Regina Joyce of Ireland wearing 260. One of two sisters born in England, both at American universities, but they run for Ireland where their parents live. And they're leading the pack. Grete Waitz. There's a bunch of American girls there and Soviet Union girls, but everyone would love to see the Norwegian girl who wears 318 in there in second. Canadian girl is in there with her wearing 60. That's Jacqueline Garreau. And there's some very big names. Raisa Smekhnova wearing 470 of the Soviet Union with a white headband on the right. She too expected to do well in this race. A lot of support on the side of the road as they go out, and we're seeing them at 20 kilometers, and this is much further on, and still Regina Joyce is having a marvelous run. Set her stall out, this Irish girl has thrown down the gauntlet to the rest, and they're at 20 kilometers of a 42-kilometer race. Regina Joyce is leading Julie Brown from Dickerson. The American girls, look at that, 1, 2, 3, and there the pack. Regina Joyce has been caught up by Grete Waitz, and she looks across, and Grete Waitz looks the stronger, and the girl that made such a spirited challenge early on has come back to the pack. And indeed, it looks as though Grete Waitz will move away. 3 times the winner of the New York Marathon, has never won a major championship in Europeans or Olympics, but she's looking good now. As we return to the men's 100 meters, Tony Sharp of Canada runs in lane 1. And this is Samuels of Jamaica in lane 2. Egbenike, there he is with long hair. Innocent Egbenike, who is a brilliant starter, World Student Games champion from Nigeria. Ernesto, who lives in England but runs for Ghana. Then Schroeder of East Germany. And now Calvin Smith, the world record holder from the United States of America. Paul Narracott of Australia on his right. And Luke Buster Watson of Great Britain. That's what he wants to be called, not Luke, but Buster Watson. Not a good starter, but he is quite a good finisher. But I think we'll see Calvin Smith, who holds the world record at 9.93, fly away from the rest. And he is. He's getting away. Narracott is still with him. On the far side, Tony Sharp is going well, but suddenly Calvin Smith breaks away and gets there ahead of Tony Sharp and ahead of Paul Narracott. And the crowd here excited to see this brilliant runner, Calvin Smith, 22 years of age, and he's the British champion as well as an American champion, and he gets there from Tony Sharp of Canada and Paul Narracott of Australia. Only the first 4 go forward by right, and he's full of bounce now. The 4th man there to go through was Schroeder of East Germany, and that's a pity because some good sprinters went out in that heat, running into a wind of 1.1 meters against them. Now, if that was exciting, imagine the crowd next when they come into the modern-day Jesse Owens, Carl Lewis of America, drawn in lane 1. He's got Voronin of Poland with him. He's got the best of the East Germans. But really, it's about lane 1, and all eyes will be on him and nobody else. And look at this man fly. This is the man who is expected to break the world record for 100 meters very soon. to break the world record for the long jump, even that incredible long jump that stands to Bob Beamon, set in the altitude of Mexico City. He's got Raymond Stewart of Jamaica following to second place, Cameron Sharp in the all-white of Great Britain in third, Frank Emmelman of the German Democratic Republic in fourth. But look at that gap as Carl Lewis from the University of Houston in Texas runs through against a headwind in 10.20 from Stewart of Jamaica. But that's a marvellous, marvellous start. And it must have affected these fellows in Heat 3. They'll have looked at that with interest. Desai Williams we've seen from Canada, then Gerard Keating, Britskin, we'll see, of the Soviet Union, the 21-year-old. And now Alan Wells, the reigning Olympic champion from Great Britain. He's also the Commonwealth champion. He's had a poor season so far, but he's coming back slowly. And here's Chidi Imoa from Nigeria, only 18. Who's run so well in America. He too at an American university. Osvaldo Lara of Cuba, the 28-year-old experienced Cuban, is on his right. And Juan Nunez of the Dominican Republic, who was a heat winner. And then we've got Istvan Tata, and doesn't he look a Tata, every inch of him. So Williams of Canada, Keating of Australia, Britskin of the Soviet Union, Alan Wells, the powerfully built Scot, is the Olympic champion, and he gets away, but Desai Williams is with him, but he'll be safely into the next round as he looks across. Desai Williams of Canada takes that. From Alan Wells, from Juan Nunez of the Dominican Republic. It's 4 that go through to the next round, to the semi-finals, but the Olympic champion is coming back to something like his old form. He's there for sure in second place, but it was a good run by the Canadian. Desai Williams, who was born in St Kitts but runs for Canada. Alan Wells walking back. The fourth man there, confirmed as the Cuban, Osvaldo Lara, who will go through to the next round. Minus 1.1 meter the wind, but it's good to see them in action as we come to the fourth heat. Ben Johnson of Canada, Christian Haas of West Germany, Penalva of Cuba, another very good Cuban sprinter, is in lane 3. We've got Pavoni of Italy, Ferenc Kiss and Emmett King. Emmett King running in lane 7, who finished second in the American Championships. He's this side, Ben Johnson's on the other side, Christian Haas, and Emmett King gets there. Emmett King, the NCAA champion. That's the National Collegiate champion. There he is, looking up to see how he got on. He's through safely, and it looks as though Christian Haas is second, and Penalva of Cuba is third, and Ben Johnson, the Jamaican-born Canadian, is fourth, but another good American hits the tape in 10.30. Christian Haas, the West German, did well to finish there in 10.36. So that's very important indeed. There's the shadow of that great tower, a monument to javelin throwing, as we look for the first girl in, and it is Grete Waitz indeed. This is marvellous running from the girl from Norway. 29 years of age, from Oslo, whose husband Jack is her coach and constant companion. She was first encouraged into athletics by a javelin thrower, would you believe, Terje Pedersen, the world's first 300-foot javelin thrower. He too a Norwegian, that's why the Norwegian flags are going. So that's marvellous. She's got 2 brothers who are also marathon runners, and she's faster than them both. And this will bring tears to their eyes as their little sister wins the first major title. She's the reigning world cross-country champion. She's been 5 times the winner, 4 times in succession, but never won a track title in a major championships. In 1978, in the European Championship, she was beaten for speed at 3,000 meters by a Russian girl called Ulmasova. And her toughest task now may be to hold that laurel wreath on her shoulders. She's just run 26 miles, 385 yards. And that is a marvellous victory for the world of women's athletics, for Scandinavia in particular, because she is regarded in the same vein as many of the world's men's great champions at marathon. She has so much respect for the rest. And here's the Russian girl, Raisa Smekhnova, into the stadium being chased by Marianne Dickerson of the United States. Marianne Dickerson in her 3rd ever marathon. She's only run 2 before. And Raisa Smekhnova will run a faster time. She's running wide, I don't know why. And she looks very tired and looks over her shoulder to see what the American girl is going to do. It's been very warm on the course. That gap is closing. That gap is closing, and suddenly Marianne Dickerson can sense that she could be second, and she goes past the Russian girl without so much as a look. And she's running for the line now. She's got about 70 meters to go. And that's a pity for the Russian girl, but it's well done to the American girl as she comes home following Grete Waitz's time of 2 hours, 28 minutes and 9 seconds. Look at this. Here's the second girl home, and she's going to be 2 hours, 31 minutes and 9 seconds. And Smekhnova, the third girl there, in 2 hours, 31 and 13. So it was a race to the end, and it was a marvelous, emotional victory for the girl from Norway that put women's marathon running on the map. Now, if that's a fair distance to go, the men are setting out on one of their two walks. This is 20,000 meters, 20 kilometers, just over 13 miles, and there'll be 66 starters from 32 countries. That's a remarkable number. Their problem is obeying the rules, because walking is a progression by steps so taken that unbroken contact with the ground is maintained at each step. The advancing foot of the walker must make contact with the ground before the rear foot leaves the ground. And if you look very closely, and it's a bit harsh scrutiny of these great athletes to watch them too closely, but they are having difficulty, which is worrying the International Amateur Athletic Federation, because a lot of their critics say that this is straight-legged running rather than walking. It's always been a controversial problem, and it's been in and out of the games due to judging controversies. In the 1924 Olympic Games, walking was excluded from the next games in Amsterdam. It returned in 1932 due to British pressure, really. And when the 50-kilometer walk was introduced, it ran into trouble again. They took them off the track and out onto the roads, and that's where they'll go now, out from this track onto the roads. Now, Sara Simeoni, the real love of Italy, the European... Now that is tragic, because the European champion, who is so much regarded, former world record holder, and she's turned that left calf over. Sara Simeoni is in great pain. What a tragedy. You can see that she jumped clear at 1.75 meters, then 180, 184, 187. And I don't think she's going to be able to continue in these championships. Such a tragedy. Sara Simeoni in tears. Now, that victory ceremony for Grete Waitz of Norway, the first world champion in these inaugural championships. 41 gold medals to be presented. The first goes to Norway and to Grete Waitz, and no one will deny that it couldn't have gone to a more deserving person. Not a dry eye in the house as the Norwegian flag is hoisted. Watching herself on the giant scoreboard, Marianne Dickerson of the United States in second place, Raisa, Smekhnova of the Soviet Union in third, and Rosa Mota of Portugal, the European champion, not on the podium. She finished fourth. First victory ceremony in these first ever World Championships. The first lady of marathon running. Now, what about the walkers? Well, we've got the best of the Soviet Union walkers. We've got in this leading group, I can see Canto of Mexico City. Pribilinec wears 7.69. Marianne of Spain, the little man there, wearing 1.94. There's Pribilinec. 5.55 is Ernesto Canto. 8.22, Yevsyukov of the Soviet Union. Now, are they maintaining unbroken contact with the ground? They're getting around that corner pretty fast as these four break away. Yevsyukov of the Soviet Union leads from Canto of Mexico. Pribilinec of Czechoslovakia. Then Jose Marin of Spain. There they are. There's the first four. And it looks as though that's going to be a very tight struggle over 20 kilometers. We move now to the shot put. And for the first time in a major competition, the shot put is in the center of the arena. That's where it stands at the moment. Machura of Czechoslovakia, Andrea of Italy, Bayer not doing so well. And here's the new youngster from the German Democratic Republic. This is Timmerman. Tall, young, giant, who's only once before ever beaten Bayer. But I think he's going to be the next breed of great shot putters. Timmerman concentrating. That 16-pound shot nestling into his chin. That support round his waist. And the knee bandage is on. They tend to struggle a bit, and that's a thumping big arm that pushes that shot out over 20 meters. And the rest of them prowling in the background. Pressing for the lead. Yes, he says. Goes over it. There's the Olympic champion, Bayer, whose sister is a marvelous discus thrower. And now David Laut, strong man of the American team, 6'4", Californian, who spins around the circle rather than glides across it. And it comes off the outside of his fingers, and that's gone outside the sector. That was 20.5 meters, but it's a red flag. Oh, it's just inside, but it's not enough. And here's a man capable of 22 meters, and he's not putting very well. Magnificently muscled, tremendously strong and fast. A fine athlete, looks as though he could make a great deck athlete as well as a shot putter. Not one of the big whales of shot putting, but an athletic shot putter. David Laut of the United States of America. "20 meters and 60 centimeters. And here's the young find of the season. This is Sarul of Poland, and 6'4½", statuesque young man, back to traditional style of gliding across that 7-foot circle, using his feet well against the stop board, extending the arm and getting the shot out. We're 21 meters to take the lead, and that surprised the East Germans and the Americans. There's a look of quiet satisfaction on his face. My word, he's done well. He's been creeping up all this season. Finished 9th in the last European Championships. That's how much he's improved in 1 year. And watching the scoreboard carefully to see that he can confirm that he's in the lead. 632, the one showing it's the first round. And now what? 21 meters and 4 centimeters. Well, the British flags are up there, but there's not much to cheer for the shot putters. After 3 rounds, it's Sarul of Poland from David Laut, from Timmerman, from Machura, and Udo Bayer nowhere. Now we're out onto the course again, and 5.55 Ernesto Canto of Mexico with 7.69 Jozef Pribilinec of Czechoslovakia. Now that's interesting because Canto at 5'7" and 9.5 stone was the winner of the 1981 Lugano Cup. And Pribilinec, he leads the world rankings for this year, and he's beaten Jose Marin. I say that because Marin is the reigning European champion. It's the Czechoslovakian that leads the world rankings, and these two getting away, and they are two of the most experienced men in the field. And Yevsyukov of the Soviet Union is falling back, and it's going to be this man that comes into the stadium first and gets a tremendous cheer, Ernesto Canto, who lives in high altitude at Mexico City at 7,000 feet, which he says gives him extra strong lungs, and of course he's right. And already the second man is in the stadium, and it's the Czech, Jozef Pribilinec. Very close indeed. And suddenly they're pouring through the tunnel, and this is going to be one of the closest finishes in modern times for a 20-kilometer walk. 3, 4 are in the stadium. Yevsyukov for the Soviet Union. Jose Marin of Spain, the European champion, is in. But Ernesto Canto of Mexico, walking with great style. There's the straight leg that he pivots over before the heel is on the ground again. But looking over the far side as we sit, there are many walkers in the stadium. It's a very close finish indeed. Another hot afternoon, nearly 80 degrees. 13 miles they've been out and back. And Mexico City will be world champions at 20-kilometer walking. And they take the second gold of these championships, and they've done well. 1 hour, 20 minutes, 49 seconds. Czechoslovakia come in for the silver medal, and the Soviet Union will collect the bronze. 3 most experienced walkers getting 1, 2, and 3. Relief on their faces as they finish that exhausting walk. The 1, 2, and 3 together, and the shot continues. Machura of Czechoslovakia with the headband. Look at the muscular definition on this young man. Trains on weight training and looks as though he eats 6-inch nails for breakfast. This is the strong man's event. 16 pounds the shot weighs. Tucks it into his chin. Glides, shifts, gets into a T position and thumps the shot. Extends the arm and pushes it out. And that's near 21 meters. Bayer growling and prowling in the background. The Olympic champion very much off form. The youngster Timmerman is doing well. But here's Czechoslovakia pressing home. And that's 20 meters and 74 as the East German comes in, 3:83. Udo Timmerman. Great deal of concentration required now. All the effort has to go in about half a second, and that's an explosive effort. Concentration required to get there. There he is, and oh, that's another long one, over 21 meters. And a look of quiet satisfaction, I think, and then an arm in the air. Timmerman. Udo Bayer comes over and has a word. Unbeaten for 5 years, the man on the right. The world record holder. Beat the Americans in America and set the world record just a couple of weeks ago. Sarul of Poland. A new heir to the throne. Chooses the shot that he likes. Picks up the red one. Crowd watching every move. Poland, of course, had an Olympic champion in Koma. When was that? Back in '72. This is their first great find since then. Oh, and he's gone longer still. Longer still. Some shot put competition as these giant behemoths put on their presentation in the center of the arena, and how much this crowd in Helsinki have enjoyed it. Back to Timmerman. What can he do now to concentrate? Taps the front of the circle. Oh, he's very fast this time. Oh, another long one. See how they're peppering that 21-meter line. Bayer comes over to congratulate him. He's taken the lead. Only once beaten Bayer before. This 20-stone giant on the right, 6'4½". Timmerman, a slimmer edition. The Czechoslovakian comes back. Machura. Built like a weightlifter. In third place at the moment. 2074. The bronze medal may be his. Lets out a giant yell and a grunt, and he too is over 21 meters. Ah, he says it's not enough. Well, that pent-up emotion, easy to understand. There's David Laut on the left there, not very happy. The Americans being put down in what should be a favourite event for them. Now back to the pole, Sarul. He's fast and he's got, oh, marvellous technique. He's surely taken the lead. He knows that he's got it. And this, the last round. That is marvellous. 21.04, but that is further. And Sarul has found the performance of a lifetime. And that is quite remarkable. Really lifts it with his leg. Gets the trunk behind it, then straight and extends the arm. And that's well over the 21-metre line. And 21 meters and 39 centimeters makes him the world champion. Poland has struck gold. The confirmed result, Poland's gold medal to Sarul. Timmerman, who led for so much of the competition, the East German has to settle for the silver. Machura, the blonde giant on the right, takes the bronze, and there's nothing for the reigning world champion, and there's nothing for the Americans. The third gold medal of these championships, and it looks as though the medals are going to be widely spread. Poland now, and remembering that finish in the 20-kilometer walk, Ernesto Canto comes home for Mexico City, raises his arm aloft. His time, 1 hour, 20 minutes and 49 seconds. Gold to Mexico, silver to Czechoslovakia, and the bronze to the Soviet Union. Ernesto Canto on to the victory rostrum. Number 1. What a delight. Follows in a long line. Remember Daniel Bautista, the Pan American champion, world track record holder, who was disqualified in Moscow, but did so well for Mexican walk. Remember Felix Gomez, and now we have Ernesto Canto. He'll shed a quiet tear over that. Unique gold at these World Championships. Czechoslovakia too. 2 medals for them now. 1 in the shot, 1 in the 20-kilometer walk. And the Soviet Union will collect a bronze, and it's expected they'll have many more medals to come. Pribilinec of Czechoslovakia. And the Soviet athlete collecting the bronze medal there. Another 3 medals in these World Championships. A great day in the Helsinki Stadium. The crowds have come. The sun has been there. The championships have been of the highest order. What a first day to get these championships underway.